Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Drop Frames. Co, what number are we on?
This is 1731.
All right, 1731 in the bucket. We've got Sodapoppin as our guest today, smiling down there. Thanks for. Is this normal? Like, is your internal clock just completely fucked up with all the traveling you've been doing? So this time slots, whatever.
I woke up today because I'm just sick, man. So sleeping is so easy for me right now.
Yeah. Okay.
I went to bed kind of early. I was playing WoW and then just passed out. I slept like. I just happened to wake up at a great time.
Okay. All right.
We're good. Yeah. Sorry.
Zeke, for you, this is our new time is quite early. It's 10 a.m. for you.
Yeah.
How was that?
It sucks,
whatever.
but I'll get used to it. Well, because it used to be like Wednesday night was my night to like stay up late, like late for me, and play fucking other video games. Well, the ones that I play to relax or take my time with or whatever. So I get to stay up a little later, and then I do the show at 3.
Yeah.
Now it's like I gotta get up at 10 a.m. Fuck you.
Yeah. It's not too bad. We'll get used to it. And this is normal time. Co's actually excited. He's not going to be tired today.
Oh, this is awesome. Yeah.
This
will
guy
be like
and his normal schedule, man.
Yeah.
I know.
Streaming at 7 a.m. Jesus Christ. I still don't know
I feel a little jealous being the only one without a green screen. I'm like the only box, Everyone else is just a floating human.
Well, I mean, it happens to all of us, but you're not. This is the shame box over here. Now you're in the shame box on this feed. So
the shame box 8,000.
Awesome.
Well, Sodapoppin, when you become a real streamer, Twitch will send you your own green screen.
It's true.
I've debated whether or not I want one.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Man,
I've debated it.
As someone
it does take away a certain kind of like relatability.
Yes.
Like when I first started using my green screen, there were a lot of interesting comments. I remember specifically when a sub straight up said to me like, "Man, I remember when Co used to be like a real guy." It's like
Now he's fake.
You're so fake with your fake
now he's
green
the
screen.
weatherman, and I can't focus.
That's true. It's true. I don't know. I've asked my viewers, and they've all told me no green screen. They don't want it, right?
Yeah.
I have too many
each their own.
gimmicks to not have a green screen.
Yeah.
I have like flames and rave settings and all this kind of shit. So
Come to think of it,
you have flame and rave settings, really?
oh yeah, we'll show those later.
That's awesome.
We show some.
You should,
clips.
dude, just find him when he's on and raid him at some point. He's got a whole thing.
Yeah.
I would love to see those.
I'm trying to
That
think.
is so cool.
Co, you're probably the biggest streamer that uses a green screen, unless I'm blanking on someone. Is there?
Oh, wow. Now that you mention it, you're right.
Holy shit.
Dr. Disrespect?
Oh,
Yes.
he does.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, he
Oh, yeah.
uses one.
Dr. Disrespect goes a lot further than just a green screen. He does
True.
like entire
He's in the
room.
motorcycle.
He uses
man, he's got-
greenscapes. Yeah, he's got
That's some next level stuff, man.
Yeah,
But yeah, you mentioned it. I never really looked at it like that. Not a lot of top streamers have green screens.
yeah.
Co, Dr. Disrespect.
That's pretty much it. There's probably some European streamers that I'm not familiar with that might use it. But yeah, I'm for the most part.
That's true. There's some really big Russian streamers that I think use them too. But yeah.
Yeah.
Short thing is though, most big streamers don't.
Yeah.
But also, there's more than a couple big streamers that don't use cameras too. Which, if you look at like the mid and small range, is almost devoid of that. Weirdly enough. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
interesting.
Yeah,
when you
for
think
sure.
about it.
For sure. So the structure of the show, we're probably going to talk to Chance for the first half here. Then we'll get into some video games, talk a little bit about BlizzCon as well. Definitely going to mention some IRL stuff, as that's kind of been I wouldn't call it a hot topic, but it's been a topic nonetheless the past couple of weeks, especially everything that happened at TwitchCon. But yeah, Chance, we'll start with you. One of the things we usually ask our guest on the show off the bat is, where'd you get your name from? Is that just your original WoW name?
Sodapoppin, it's not as interesting of a story as people would want it to be.
It
But
never
yeah,
is.
it never is it? It really is a name from WoW. So the beginning is my name was Cowhead. It's my druid's name because my brother's ex-girlfriend just when she saw my turn, I asked like name my character. She's like, "Oh, it's a cow. It's a Cowhead." I was like, "Okay." So I named him Cowhead, and then I transferred servers, and Cowhead was taken. So I just literally typed out Poppin because I was so excited to log on and finally get to duel my friends from school who all said they were better than me.
Uh-huh.
They were not. So I just Rambo just Poppin. I was like, whatever, it's just Poppin. So the name was Poppin for a long time, and then I transferred servers again, and Poppin was taken again. And I was streaming at the time, but I was streaming to like 300 viewers on Xfire. I wasn't a huge streamer yet. And I was drinking Coke, and someone just named yourself Sodapoppin. It's like, fine, fuck it. So I just named myself Sodapoppin. And then my stream blew up with the name Sodapoppin, so it stuck with me from there.
So would you say that was kind of the usually the second question is like what was the blow up moment or the blow up game? Was it back on Xfire when it kind of started, or were you already what would you say was the game that made you who you are?
World of Warcraft, 110%. There's no doubt.
And how long ago was that? It seems like it was ages ago, right?
I started streaming 8 years ago. I think I'm 23, so.
Sounds about right.
So I started streaming when I was about 14 or 15 years old. If you think about it, it's fucking crazy. I tell people
You
this all
streamed
the time.
almost twice as long as I have.
Yeah, I'm a little kid
awesome.
too. Yeah, I started on Xfire. I was doing Arena with a priest, and I was a feral druid. And ferals in Wrath of the Lich King were not a very common class in PvP. Everyone played Resto. It was the easiest way to get Glad. And I was rank 1 in 2v2. So everyone wanted to say, oh shit, a feral druid. Let's go watch a feral. No one got to see it. So everyone was really excited to see me play a feral. And I immediately got like 100 viewers on my first day. And from there, I've always had viewers in that sense.
Trying to pull up your oldest VODs on Twitch are from 5 years ago. We won't play the audio. I feel like you were a different streamer back then in terms of just the content of said stream. So we'll leave that kind of to its own.
Yeah, I was definitely I was a kid. I was a kid. I'm still a kid. I'm still young. I still got a lot to learn. But back then, I was a fucking kid. I was a goofball. I was genuine. Oh, Jesus Christ. Are you watching videos of me?
Oh, yeah.
What video is that?
So
I remember that girl. She was cool.
You're 18 years old in this?
Probably.
Yeah, this is from 2000.
Jesus Christ.
5? No,
Yeah.
no, that's not right.
You from
Let's see when this
15,
was.
you've been doing it for 8 years and you're 23 now.
5
From
years ago.
15, you've been streaming nearly every day for hours and hours and hours.
Well, when I was younger, so it wasn't a job. No one really did it as a full-time job except maybe I'm not sure if Tally was full-time on Twitch yet. I know of him, and maybe Destiny was huge back then.
Yeah, Destiny was
but
pretty big.
overall, it wasn't a job, right? So what I did was I went to a private school, and that being said, teachers got to like do things their own way a lot. If I had all A's in the class, I would get to play WoW in class. So I had a laptop. Yeah. If I had an A in that class, the teachers said, fuck it. I mean, you have an A. You're obviously doing well. You don't need to do whatever you want. Also, I would sleep in class. So a lot of the times I would sleep during school, and I would pull all-nighters at home and play WoW and stream. So, yeah, full-time streamer.
So wait a minute.
School was very easy for me.
You're smart?
I did really well. I wouldn't say I'm smart. I would say I did well in school. I did well when it came to studying methods. I was really good at my note cards. I was really efficient. I was the guy that like in between classes, I'd be in class on time early, sitting in the front row, making note cards. If I didn't have anything to do, I'd be sleeping so I could stream at night. I loved streaming back then. It was so fun. It still is. But back then,
I remember
there's a charm to it.
I started streaming and watching on Justin.tv in 2010.
Yeah.
And there was only a few names that everybody knew, and Sodapoppin was one of them.
Oh yeah.
Dang. Yeah, that was
you were a big deal, buddy.
I know. I was. It's so weird thinking back then, man. It's so cool, and so many things happened in the WoW section too on Twitch. Like donations started in the WoW section.
Oh yeah. I think World of Warcraft is responsible in a lot of ways, almost the same amount as eSports is for kind of Twitch blowing up, right? Because it was originally like one of the biggest games, if not the biggest game on the platform for sure, with people like Tally and yourself.
Well, League of Legends always had more viewers,
Totally.
but when it came to but the people who had viewers over there were like the pro
Oh my god, you
players.
pulled up the front page from like 5 years ago. Look at this shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, man.
Oh my god. Have you ever
That
gone
browser
back
too.
Have you ever looked at old Twitch chat? Like, go find a YouTube video,
God.
and it's the streamer opens up his chat on stream.
Yeah.
Like, there's no emotes. There's just Kappa. That's all there is.
Jesus.
There's nothing else.
Yeah, there's
People are so much nicer there too.
Look at this game list. Oh, this is so old. You're live here with 1,800 viewers.
Woo! Look at
Zillia's
me,
there. I'm recognizing all these old names.
Oh,
now.
this is Cataclysm.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it. Yeah, this is Kata. B-Win. Yeah, that was back when I always had friends, like kind of like we're doing right now, only I'd be playing WoW. I'd have like people and I'd screen region their camera into my screen, and we would just like, it would be like a podcast at the same time. Listen, I'm going to toot my own horn. I was an incredible feral druid back then. I stomped on kids. I may have been a goofball. I may have been an idiot, but I was one of the best ferals, hands down. I was good. So I was stomping on kids while being a complete fucking jackass. It was awesome.
There's the chat.
I love your FedSec shirt too. That's
FedSec, dude. My friend got that
pretty
for
great,
me.
dude.
I probably still got that shirt somewhere. I might still have it.
Oh my God.
I don't go clothes shopping very often, so.
You're right. There's not a single emote in this chat.
Yeah. See, it's way different. Everything's way different, man.
Yeah. I have not seen this iteration of Twitch in a very long time. I forgot that like pages used to look like this with the art all around. It's kind of crazy.
Sam, Evrelia Gaming. I saw him at BlizzCon. I was having drinks with him.
Oh, yeah?
I don't talk to him too often, but him and I used to hang out while I did old streams, so it was cool catching up. I recently saw him again. Yeah. Right. He was a really high-rated warlock back then. It was cool.
So, in a sense,
speaking of meeting for the first time, like I had heard of you for forever. I mean, you've been around forever. You're one of those cats like Dan's Gaming and
so
and
weird to think about, but yeah,
Swifter and Spamfish and all those guys who've been around for forever. And it took so long for us to actually meet for the first time, and I was actually kind of fucking nervous because I didn't know what to expect, because all I had was like fucking rumors and hearsay to go off of. Oh, and that's all bullshit for the most part. Yeah. I hate to say it, but I was really surprised that you were such a nice guy when I met you.
I get that a lot, actually. Yeah. A lot of people at the end of talking with them, they always say, "You're a lot nicer than I thought you'd be," or like, to my surprise, I didn't hate meeting you. Like things like that. I'm like, I guess it's a compliment.
Wow.
I guess it's a compliment, so I'll take it.
Yeah, a little backhanded, if anything.
I mean, that's the thing, though. You know, you build up your reputation. And back then, I did some stupid shit. Like, there's some really dumb things I did.
Here's you eating the ghost pepper, by the way, on that topic.
Oh, God, the ghost pepper. See, that's the thing. I can't tell. When I eat this ghost pepper, I can't tell if I over-exaggerated how much it actually hurt or if it really hurt that much. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised by either. It's really bad, but I think I over-exaggerated it in this video a little bit. Where I don't know. Again, I'm like 18 years old or 19 in this video, maybe.
Yeah.
To perform, I'm sure.
I'm a teenager, dude.
Yeah. That actually brings up a good point that JP said. How do you deal with getting over some of the stupid shit you've done? No, I'm curious about that. Like, because I've done stupid shit too, and I just want to know, like,
are they the type of things where you lay in bed at night and you're just like, man, that was fucking so stupid. Let's
Zeke,
just move on.
you make it sound like it's like how do you put yourself in public? How do you get out of bed in the morning?
No,
that's not
what I fucking meant.
This is the kind of person you are.
Well,
I mean, like, do you dwell on it, or do you just forget about it?
Back then, when I did all this stupid shit, I'll tell you right now, when I did it, all I cared about, all I thought about was like, that was some funny content. My viewers had a good time. That was the only thing that went through my head. Nothing else did. I didn't care how I looked. I didn't care how stupid I was. I didn't give two flying fucks. I look back now and I see it and I'm like, man, I really wish this wasn't people's first impression of me. Because the truth be told, all these videos have a lot of views. A lot of people don't watch me and they only see the clips. Yeah. I wish it wasn't their first impression of me. But the viewers that saw it at the time, they loved it. That's all.
Well, I'll tell you that I get the same shit a lot from like we were talking about live stream fails and stuff like that. Like, people's first impression of me is me like breaking a keyboard or throwing a controller or acting like a giant, like I'm throwing a fucking temper tantrum, which I am. But that's not that doesn't encapsulate who I am. So I kind
it's
of
also
understand.
context, my friend. I mean, shit, you're playing.
Exactly.
You're playing Get Over It. You're allowed to be a fucking raging bitch.
Sure, sure.
It's allowed at the time. You're playing Bloodborne, or even Dark Souls.
Or any first-person game that requires aiming on a console.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that as well. That's
we
true.
were also talking about.
Exactly. Context matters.
Yeah. And most of the time, context isn't hard or isn't gained in like the 30-second clip of someone breaking a keyboard or someone eating a ghost pepper, or someone trying to aim on a console, etc.
So interesting follow-up, or interesting question Zeke just asked. Ben, a quick follow-up to that. How do you see the fact that you growing up is basically now in public domain?
Yeah.
Forever.
Isn't that weird to think
That's
about?
what I was gonna ask. Yeah.
Well, here's my question. Do you see it like, because from what you just said, in my mind, it seems like you would see that as awesome. Like it's like a catalog. You can go back. It's like episodes of a TV show. You can go and visit if you want to. Since it's all content that you made, good intentions at the time. Seems like
it is
or does it
really
worry?
fucking awesome that my whole life, or my whole, I don't want to say conscious life, but like as a 14-year-old, at that point you have a lot more profound thoughts than you would as an 8-year-old. So most of my conscious life is on fucking stream. I mean, I stream what back then, nowadays, 10 hours a day. There are no goddamn conventions. Is that me still eating the ghost pepper?
Yeah.
I mean,
I like this, man. This is the dance we got going on here.
It is seriously painful. Listen,
Content, homie.
It actually, and here's the bad thing. Not a lot of people ate ghost peppers at this time. All right. And you see me chugging this milk. Now it's a catch-22 because you drink too much milk.
Oh yeah.
You throw up the pepper and it starts all over again.
Did you throw up?
Yes.
Oh,
You probably drank
And
then-
half a gallon of
imagine.
milk.
Now, the reason you're drinking that milk is if you've ever had anything really spicy, nothing like it, your mouth is on fire. It is sheer pain. But that milk actually really completely gets rid of it while the milk is in your mouth.
Yep.
Right? So you want to just keep drinking cold milk. It completely neutralizes the pain, but then you got to drink more, and it's bad. It's a bad cycle.
I actually found the best thing is if you get Coffee Mate, like vanilla coffee creamer.
Oh God, did you?
It's
Just
the
chug
best.
that?
It's the best thing.
Oh my God.
No, you just hold it in your mouth. You just put it there and you.
Oh, can we not show this any? Well, yeah,
Yeah, you can.
man.
No, nipples are okay now.
Okay,
Male
all right.
nipples are okay now.
I wasn't sure of the
Yeah,
current.
there was a time that would have gotten us in trouble, though.
Yeah.
Funny enough.
I don't understand Twitch. I never will.
No, that's a whole
Are you
nother.
still that thin?
I'm still really skinny. Look at me. I'm like a little fucking twig, dude. I'm thin with two ends.
Oh, God.
You're like thin and
Yeah.
Oh, that's thin.
I am very skinny. I'm not that thin. I have gained a little bit of weight, but I am still on the edge or the end of definitely the skinny spectrum.
Yeah.
You can have some of mine, dude. I got
Yeah,
plenty.
give me some, man. I'm trying to gain weight, and I'm drinking a milkshake, a Coca-Cola, and some medicine, which I'm supposed to finish. I forgot. This is gross medicine, but it's supposed to make me feel a lot better. It's working a little bit. But that's what I'm having, and I'm still skinny.
I was
Still
half
skinny.
expecting you to be like, they call it vodka.
It's great.
I'm
It's
just
a
gonna
Russian
keep drinking.
cure.
I hope it makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Drinking my vodka here.
I think it's Everclear or something.
Jesus, you just got a bottle of Everclear. Is that the one that you and Man were drinking? The other is that
Yeah.
what? Okay, that's why that's there.
It ain't no joke.
Yeah. Anyways, I shouldn't have shown the clip while you were answering Co's question. Like, you kind of grown up on Twitch, like, and people have
Yeah.
seen that. Is that
Yeah.
like what's that like? I think more so than other streamers because a lot of people have been streaming a long time, but you were kind of one of the first people to invite everyone viewer wise kind of into your life, whereas a lot of people just invited them to play games.
I always wonder to myself, like, I don't know what it's like to be a streamer. It's like the only thing I've known. I don't know what it's like to not have my life on stream. So I can't really compare when I haven't known the other side.
Are there moments in your life where something happens and you're like, "Fuck, I wish this
All the
somehow
time.
shared"?
All the time. Everything I do in my life, when it's on stream, it's more fun.
Yeah.
Everything. I mean, I like talking with friends. I prefer IRL streaming with friends. It's more enjoyable. Of course, I enjoy times off stream with friends, because it's like sometimes overall my conversations are pretty much the same on stream as they are off. It doesn't necessarily changed too much.
Yeah.
But overall, I really enjoy like Twitch chat. Just it being on camera and other people there with you, it just makes it way more fun. I love it's something I love.
Have you had relationships, and not necessarily romantic relations, but just friendly relationships with people where you're like, oh yeah, we're gonna stream this, and they've been like vehemently against it, and there's a push and pull there? If so, like what
Not
is that
really.
like? Everyone's into it.
All the relationships I've been in my streaming career, they've all either like pretty much were streamers themselves. So I dated Leah, I dated Sherry. Before that, that's pretty much it. I didn't really have a girlfriend before that.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I did. She didn't know I streamed. Oh God, I remember now.
I'm bringing back bad memories. My bad.
Yeah, those are some memories, man. That was one of those like high school relationships where she always wanted to talk to me on the phone at night for 30 minutes. I lied to her and I said my mom only lets me use the phone for 30 minutes, but realistically, that was my way of getting out. I could talk to her all day, but I didn't want to.
Nice.
I wanted to play WoW.
Nice. I think one of the
how often, since you have kind of a look now with the pink hair and all that kind of stuff,
I'm
how
getting
often?
rid of it, man. I'm getting rid of it.
I heard you said that. How often do you get just recognized on the street, like not at a con, just on the street?
If I go out, I get recognized.
Do you?
I mean,
right on.
especially if I go to Best Buy or like Fry's Electronics or
Oh, okay, sure, yeah.
like especially those areas. But typically, if I go to a restaurant or a pretty known area, if there's all it takes is someone that's around my age to be there. Like someone who plays games that's around my age, and then they're gonna know who I am. Especially with the pink hair. God, I can't hide. I have pink hair. I'm at the airport. I get recognized. It's really cool. I won't lie. It does make me feel pretty good.
Oh yeah.
it's a big ego boost for sure.
The very rare times that it happens to me, it's just like, hey, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it does boost my ego a little bit. I won't lie.
Have you met any young fans that are like, I want to grow up to do what you do? And if so, what is that like? Do you tell them like, oh yeah, do it. You can start streaming on Twitch. Or are you just like, just. I
mean, it depends on how they ask the question.
Yeah.
Like what is the age of this person? And are they saying things like, yeah, man, like I'm gonna become a streamer. I plan on quitting my job soon. Gonna go full time. I've never done it before. Never had any viewers, but I'm sure it'll go great. Like if they say something like that, I'm gonna say, listen, don't quit your job, don't do none of that. But if it's like a kid that's like 14 or something, and he's like, I want to be a streamer, grow up. Of course, I'll be like, hey man, give it a try. Start doing it for fun. Do it like how I did it. Shit, it's just a hobby at first, and then it blossoms into what it is today, I guess. I'd hope so.
What's the piece of advice, knowing what you do now, that you would go back and like give yourself?
Oh man, so I've done some stupid shit when I was a kid, but that's the thing. Maybe if I didn't do that stupid shit, I may not be where I am today. So I don't know if I'd change that. I don't know.
What about real life advice? Not like streaming advice. Like if is there something like that you would tell yourself?
Well,
like get a fucking accountant or something.
Real life advice. I would. Oh, geez. I had a lot of bad managers, I guess. So I'd talk to myself about that. That's really mainly it, I guess.
Yeah.
I had some bad managers that I didn't have a good past with.
That makes sense.
I go back and tell myself to get a credit card.
Oh my God, my credit is so bad.
Uh-oh.
It's terrible.
I have no credit. I have zero credit.
Yeah,
I've never had a credit card.
Yeah, I have a credit card, and you know what the limit is? $500 a month.
For you, really?
That's the best they could give me. Yeah, that is. I've asked multiple times, say, can I have something better? I said no. I'm like, do you see I'm gonna be that guy for a second. Look at my bank account. Okay, $500 a month. Are you kidding me? The reason my credit is so bad is back in college, I had Time Warner Cable, and you know how they rent those modems out, right? Mm-hmm. I never returned the modem.
And they ruined your fucking credit over it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
that
found
affects
out
it.
last year. I never turned it in. I didn't even know it. I had no idea.
Yeah, late charges to like companies like that is a great way to ruin your credit.
God,
That's
man,
why if you miss like
hard.
a utilities bill or like anything like electric, water bill, it actually like fucks with your credit. That's why it's important to pay that shit on time.
Jesus.
Yeah, it fucks me over, man.
Yeah.
That hurt. And so I couldn't even get I bought this house recently. I couldn't even get as good of a loan. I got a decent loan, but not nearly as good as I wanted.
Well, to be
For
honest,
sure.
the fact you were able to get a house, regardless, as a streamer, is a triumph in itself. Because that shit
Yeah,
is a fucking
I'm very,
nightmare.
very lucky.
Yeah, yeah.
I had to
Um,
sell a house too. I had to buy a house and then buy another house and then sell the old house.
yeah, that's not fun. It's not fun at all.
No, I hate dealing with that
Some of that
shit.
myself.
Yeah. I'm trying to pull up some of a lot of these. I'm realizing a lot of your VODs are highlights. So, are most of your old streams just kind of gone forever, lost in time?
Unfortunately, I'd
that
imagine so.
sucks,
Didn't
man.
they? Didn't Twitch kind of get rid of a lot of those old VODs? Like they
Some
don't
channels
back
are
up-
evergreen.
Yeah.
Most aren't. But yeah, some channels are evergreen.
They started recycling them if you don't make highlights.
Right.
If you don't make your previous broadcast, if you don't make them highlights, then I think for a partner streamer, I think they 6 months is how long they stick around, and then they go away
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
or something like that. Do you have them upload? Do you have like a YouTube library or not?
Not really. I don't manage my YouTube at all. I have other
Okay.
people do it. I seriously, my day in and day out is kind of wake up, live stream, do a good live stream, focus on that, and then sleep, do the next day.
Yeah.
That's been my life forever. The VOD you're looking at right now, I'm looking at the video. That's my parents' house, man.
Is it?
That's the room I grew up in. Yeah. Well, actually, no, I grew up in that house though. Yeah, I swapped to that bedroom with my brother at one point. But no, that is old.
Yeah.
Oh,
This
man.
is like 2012, I think.
Damn. Look at me with
random-
my shaved head.
Random side question while we're talking about that, and kind of going along what you just said. Is that the plan moving forward? Are you working towards anything in particular, or just really enjoying the ride and seeing where it goes?
Since day one, I've always told myself, Chance, don't worry about growing. Just stay relevant in Twitch, and you'll grow with Twitch. And that's kind of what I've told myself since the beginning. I love live streaming. Twitch is the main live streaming platform. Just stick with Twitch. So that's always been my very short message to myself at all times.
Nice.
Were you always cognizant, as WoW kind of started to not necessarily get replaced, but just dip in kind of the grand scheme of Twitch in terms of what people watch? Were you cognizant of that drop? Or did you just love the game
Cognizant.
so much?
Tell me what that word means, sir.
Were you aware of that drop, but you just
Oh,
continued
yeah,
to focus
Did
on
it
it?
affect you?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, World of Warcraft started dropping when it came to like viewers. Like I realized I reached a peak. You can only go get so many viewers in certain sections, right? Every single day. And World of Warcraft started doing kind of bad. Or not bad, but I was also very aware that I don't want to be in one game. And I was very, very proud of myself for realizing that really early on. A lot of people don't. And so I started playing Amnesia, The Dark Descent. And there are custom stories on custom stories on custom stories on that game. And so every single day at the end of the stream, I would, I'd farm viewer count in WoW, and then I'd play a scary game at the end. And back then, Slender just came out. If anyone remembers that Slender time.
Oh, yeah.
What is it? Five Nights at Freddy's kind of came out a little after. But anyways, scary games had their reign. And I'd play one every single night, and everyone loved watching that. And so it really got my foot in the door of variety. And then I started playing new game releases. And then with new game releases, I started doing Shit Show Saturday, which then I just play random games like Getting Over It. People love that. So farmed.
Yeah.
Got my foot into variety, been in variety ever since.
You mentioned the word farm, obviously, like from a WoW perspective. Is that kind of how you approach streaming in that sense? Where, you got to put in the time, you got to make sure that, you're live as much as possible every single day to get your name out there to as many people possible?
That's the thing. I loved the attention. It wasn't even about growing my channel as like a business. I just loved the fucking attention. I just loved it. I loved the logging into WoW and getting spam whispers. I thought was so fucking cool. I was a huge fanboy as a kid. I'd watch all the WarcraftMovies.com like PvP videos and like Swifty and shit. I loved watching those, and I daydream every day.
Are you a big Vertney fan?
No. You want to get in the Warcraft PvP videos talk? You will not beat me, sir.
No, I watched them all too. Yeah. What was the Korean warrior's name? Do you remember him?
Lane Time?
Yes. Lane Time was always my favorite. He was always
Lane Time was great. I love his music. Whenever I hear any old PvP WoW music, I don't know the name of the song, but I can tell you what PvP video that song is in and which number it is. Like the third song, fourth song.
Totally.
Every single one.
Yeah.
So anyways, I would daydream of making videos like that. That was like the biggest thing for me. I loved those videos, and I wanted to make one so bad, and I was so young I couldn't figure out how to fucking do it. I had no idea how to work Sony Vegas. I was young. There was no YouTube tutorials. And one day someone showed me I could just stream. And I was like, wow, this is great. I can show off, being a badass druid, and I don't have to edit, and I get attention, and I love this. This is fun. And then all of a sudden I did it every day. 5 years went by. Hey, look, full time.
Yeah.
I just love the attention.
When was the decision to like, oh, I guess this is my job now. I guess this is what I'm going to do for a living. Do you remember like that specific moment? Do you remember like the day, or was it just kind of something that happened over time?
I remember I was doing laundry in my college dorm, and there was someone named Trent, someone who I went to high school with, who happened to go to my college. And I saw him in the laundry room at my college dorm, and I remember just talking to him, and I was so proud I couldn't help but boast about me playing games for a living. And he's asking what I've been up to. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm playing games for a living. And he's like, oh, it's awesome. I'm like, yeah. I mean, he's like, how much are you making? I'm like, dude, I made like $30,000 so far in the past like 6 months. Like, this is full time for me. This is awesome. And I said that out loud to Trent, and I was thinking to myself, yeah, this could be a job. So then at that point, I'm a fucker for this. So Christmas break came along, and I actually, at this point, I'm like, I'm a full-time streamer. I'm not going to classes anymore. I'm done with college. I lied to my parents, and I told them that Christmas break started early, but in reality, I just stopped going to class. And I knew that at the end of the day, by the end of Christmas break, my parents were going to kick me out because they'd find out that I was no longer in school. But by that time, I will have had enough money saved up I could get my own place. So I had a plan, and it was pretty scummy, but it worked. So my parents found out that I dropped out of college. Yeah. They ended up not kicking me out. They were going to kick me out, but my brother ended up like convincing him to not, and they gave me a little bit of time. I think I went to community college, and I got a little bit more money saved up before I moved to Michigan and moved in with Nick, and then started streaming there. So that was my plan. That was a long time ago, man. I was like 19 years old or something.
This might be a personal question. If it is, feel free not to answer. But sure. Is relationship with your parents happy now? Like good times?
Oh, it's great.
It's good. Okay.
No, my parents it's absolutely great. They love what I do. At the time, my mom was the kind of person that would say something like, if I was trying to renew my WoW subscription, she refused to type her credit card on anything on the internet. She thought she was going to get like hacked.
Of course.
So when I showed her PayPal, I'm like, look, Mom, I'm making money. She didn't fucking care. Your PayPal, what is this?
Yeah.
I'm making money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she goes to the closet and grabs the Monopoly set. She's like, look, I got all this money too.
yeah, it's horse shit. So like I had to pay my mom $60 in order for her to pay $15. I didn't have a credit card. To pay $15 a month on my WoW subscription, I had to pay $60 cash to my mom. In exchange, she would use her credit card for it. Jesus. That was our deal. Because my mom's like, well, I'm risking getting hacked for you, so I better get like extra. I'm like, yeah, okay, Mom.
Jeez.
It was God, those are some old times. I'm glad those days are gone, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, let's kind of talk about some of your recent, I guess you could call them adventures with IRL, shifting over to your trip to Tokyo. Was that, you kind of dabbled in it, but was that your first real test of IRL, would you say? Was when you went over to Japan?
I would say like my first, like these are dedicated IRL streams. Yes, that was my first series. I did some IRL streaming in Austin a little before that with Rekful or Byron. And those were really fun streams. We had a lot of fun with those. But Japan That was 20 days of IRL. We took turns on my channel and his channel back and forth. It was about 12 hours a day. 17 out of 19 of those days we streamed. It was a lot of IRL streaming, a lot of walking around.
Yeah.
I will say this. I did IRL stream way back, maybe like 5 years ago. Yeah. I was IRL streaming back then.
Yeah.
I went and bought like extra small condoms and like a shamrock or something. It was really, I bought some Subway. I went to Taco Bell and someone called when callers weren't really a thing. But the Japan was definitely more dedicated to IRL. It was really fun. It's a lot of streaming. It was a lot. I got psychological issues.
What do you mean?
I was on camera way too much.
Yeah. Okay.
And what did that do?
I mean, you always feel like you're on camera. There's things you want to say out loud, but you don't have like right now while we're on stream, everything I say is going through somewhat of a filter, making sure I shouldn't say this on stream, or like keeping some things off stream that shouldn't be said, whether it be about friends or about like personal stuff that shouldn't go on. Mm-hmm. And then that filter doesn't come off even when the camera goes off. And you realize that, I guess, is the best way to put it. Yeah. I mean, like, if you think about it, the only time I wasn't on camera in Japan was when I was getting ready to stream and I was half asleep, like brushing my teeth, taking a shower, or when I was like winding down trying to go to sleep. And then aside from that, there's a camera on and everyone can hear every word I'm saying at all times. I can't pick my nose as freely. That is a thing I do. I do pick my nose. Just prefer not to do it on camera because it's gross.
Sure.
Things like that. Pick my ass, etc.
Makes sense. Do you regret like agreeing to that in a sense with like the social contract with your viewers, or are you happy you did it?
I'm very happy I did it. Like I said, I'm a huge attention whore. I mean, I love attention. I'll admit it. I'll be the first to admit it. I do love attention. I will say there are times I wish I could turn it off for a day. But that's just one of the minor few costs when it comes to being a streamer. I love it.
Sure.
But then again, I haven't known anything else. My whole life has been on camera, pretty much.
Would you say that's something you would tell people, like, is a benefit to being, if you want to start streaming, is to like start loving attention?
Yeah, that actually, I never thought about that. Yes, I think loving attention is a huge thing about wanting to be a streamer, because you're so much attention on you. There really is at all times. You have to love it. I mean, that's how it works.
So Soda, something that I've been kind of picking up on here, because we've had discussions about this in the past about what you get from Twitch as opposed to what you like doing. Mm-hmm. And like, for instance, Zeke is actually really big into acting and improv.
Oh, yeah?
And things that Zeke has said in the past where he's like, yeah, if I had like a big break, like I'd love to go like do that and be in front of it. So something that has been kind of peeking out to me as we've been talking here is, it seems like is streaming a way for you to get what you want in terms of attention, or are you there for the games? Like,
I'm there for the games, man.
Well, like, for instance, would you love to be like have a reality show where you just do IRL streams all the time on a major network?
I would love that, but I would want to be able to game. Like, I am a huge gamer at heart. I played Warcraft 3 and World of Warcraft. Like, I'm logged into Elysium. I'm not anymore. I was logged into Elysium for the first half of this whole thing, just AFK, just in Ironforge.
Running circles.
Yeah, running, the WoW circles you run.
Oh yeah.
So I would want a game at some point, but no, reality, that would be fun. I wonder how that would go.
So that like gaming still gives you a thrill then.
Yo, for sure.
Okay.
So you see your future endeavors, regardless of what they are, there'll be gaming involved, whatever they are.
I think so. That's I'm pretty sure. I'm a huge gamer. I like IRL streaming. Anything on stream is really fucking fun. I just love it all, to be honest with you. I've got my foot in the door of a lot of things right now.
Yeah.
I got my foot in the variety streaming world, and the WoW world, and the IRL world, and I love all three of them.
It's also, I got to say, it's pretty interesting. I don't know if it has to do maybe with your age and how you're kind of growing up with it, but you really seem to have been looking back. You kind of do things before the trends kind of kick in for them, which is kind of wild. Now here you are kind of like doing the IRL thing before a lot of big casters were, and you were doing the WoW thing before that was.
Well,
Do you see that as kind of something like as you've grown up with it, you can kind of see the trends and see what's coming a little bit better? Is that something you're thinking about consciously, or do you just do what you think is fine?
Well, that's the thing. Because I grew up with streaming, I forget sometimes that some of my knowledge may come from experience, and sometimes it's common sense that a lot of other people know. But I don't. Some of the knowledge I have, I sometimes think maybe it's common sense for other people, but it's not. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
So a lot of the times, things like that just make sense to me, and I don't even know how to explain how they make sense, are just how it is. And I don't know how else to explain it.
Well, I think someone just said it in chat. It's good intuition, man.
Yeah.
It's just gut feelings.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I guess. It's weird. It's so weird to like step back and kind of really think about my overall position in the streaming world. It is weird because all I really do is I go to sleep, I wake up, and I do my thing. I stream. If I think this is going to start working, I start doing this. If I think this is going to be going well, I try and do this.
Does your success of a stream on a day-by-day basis affect your mood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that applies to everyone though, right?
Oh yeah. That's why I was asking.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I have a bad stream, I feel pretty bad. You know, like, I've taken a lot of days off from because of BlizzCon and TwitchCon, and my stream before BlizzCon, for example, I streamed like 22 hours or some crazy amount.
Yeah.
And I had a flight to go to BlizzCon. I streamed all the way until my flight to BlizzCon. I was going to just turn the stream off, pack up in 20 minutes, and literally Uber straight to the airport. I didn't not even go to sleep that night. And the reason I did that was because I had taken so many days off for TwitchCon, and I feel like I hadn't put up a good stream, and I wanted to fix that by putting up a really good stream. In fact, actually, I ended up buying another flight to BlizzCon because the stream was going so well, and I wanted to keep it going. And it's one of those things, you feel a lot better after you've put up a really good live stream. You feel a lot better about taking a day off or something like that, right?
Sure. What about chat's kind of bringing up a lot of Northern Gaming stuff? Is that kind of a split in terms of you looking to
Northern Gaming was it was. So as a company, it was a small eSports organization that was mainly ran by me and a handful of other people, and we had no money. You know, it was just more of a fun thing. I put together a WoW team and managed all of that, and then we had a Rocket League team that did really fucking well. I think we won, which is awesome. So we did well there, but not Counter-Strike or League or Overwatch at the end because it just costs way too much money. And at the end of the day,
expensive.
Yeah, $20 million for an Overwatch spot.
Oh, well, yeah. Specifically Overwatch,
Sick.
but even Counter-Strike teams are super pricey these days.
Yep,
if they're
exactly.
Good ones.
So NRG approached me, and I got along with Backspace. I met with him, got along with Andy, and we discussed everything. And when it came down to it, a merge was the best thing for both of us. So we ended up doing that. So now I'm a part owner of NRG.
Yeah. Is that like a day-to-day thing, or is that just kind of like an overseer? Like, what would you say your role is in all of that?
My role, I'm involved in a lot of conversations, and they ask for my input on a lot of live streaming stuff. Mm-hmm. Because, as I was saying before, a lot of things to me are common sense, and it isn't to a lot of them. So sometimes they come to me in some questions, asking how this goes, how that would go. They want my input. They ask my opinion. A lot of players... I haven't done it yet, but I want to play with me in some points when I'm streaming, things like that. So that's overall my role.
That makes sense.
What's the appeal to you?
Overall, it's not like a day-to-day thing. I mean, I am a full-time streamer. That's my main job. There's no question.
Sure. Zeke, what were we going to ask?
What were you saying, Zeke?
Yeah, what's the appeal to you of getting into that facet?
The esports?
Yeah.
It's funny because Ark Legger from H1Z1 was at my house one day. For DreamHack Awesome, we were having a party. Him and I were just talking. He's like, "You should get in esports," and I responded with, "Okay," and he's like, "That's it? That's it?" And I said, "Yeah, Ark, just seriously, remember this moment. I want you to remember this, Ark, because in 1 year, I'm gonna come back to you and I'm gonna tell you. Remember that time we talked about you telling me to get into esports? I'm gonna point back to this moment. This is why it happened." And yeah, that was the end of the conversation. I got into esports.
I I want to bring like just a bag of drugs near you and like, here, take this. Okay.
That's what it's like hanging out with me, man. I'm just going. I just go with the flow. I'm chilling. You know, you want to watch TV? I'll fucking do it. Let's watch TV. You want to watch porn? I'll do it with you. We'll do it. That sounds fun. There you go.
There's the next reality show. Zeke and Soda watch porn together.
There you go.
Yeah, your porno review, man. I do that. I do what I love, and I love what I
Zeke
do.
and Soda's VR porn review.
Ooh.
I will critique the acting beforehand because for me, the role play is the most important part.
Okay.
Really, you like the story?
Of course.
Oh man, I'm all about camera angles, bro.
Man,
Gotta have the right angle.
That sounds like you guys should just produce something right there. You both know what you're doing.
We'll
There
get
you go. Next level.
Oh, jeez.
What speaking of things that major brands don't like, what would you say is kind of something or something that didn't necessarily happen because of things that you've done in your past? Like, have you had business relationships go south because of a tweet or a stream or something like that? Has that ever been a factor in terms of like sponsors or anything?
Not necessarily. In my early days of being a toxic fuck back in the day, sponsors weren't really big into Twitch altogether. So whether or not I was a toxic fuck didn't really change that, right?
Yeah.
Nowadays, I have friends who are definitely losing out on sponsors because of their content.
Oh yeah.
Nowadays, for sure. But back then, no, didn't really inhibit me at all. I mean, the main revenue back then, for sure, without a doubt, was donations, and me being that didn't hinder me at all.
Sure.
So
if anything, it probably
And
helped
what's kind of
you.
nice is these days, Soda's to the point where it's like no one's going to approach him with an offer that doesn't know who he is and what they're
Right.
getting into.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's like
Well,
he
that's
can just do whatever he wants. And you know,
yeah, that's true.
It's a question I want to ask you. Do you think there's a point in terms of like content creators in size where, for the most part, they can kind of get away with saying anything, whereas someone who's a little bit smaller and kind of hunting for these sponsorships, is that's kind of the game right now, has to be like tip top, make sure that nothing is going wrong on their stream or saying anything that's going to harm them. Whereas someone that's already established, someone that's already got a big audience, they can kind of say whatever the fuck they want. Do you think that's true, or is it across the board? You got to be careful.
I've never been in the position of the other spectrum
Yeah.
or other side. I have no idea. I could see it being true though. I could. I do know that a lot of my friends who are smaller streamers definitely care a lot more about getting sponsors and whatnot. Man, when I see a lot of like, it's really, really interesting for me as a streamer to see the lives of other streamers and just see how differently it is approached, just all together. And a lot of the time when I see it, I'm very happy to be me. That's kind of how I if I'm being honest, I'm very happy
makes
to
sense.
be me.
Yeah.
No, that's one of the things we talked about at one of the panels at TwitchCon is your brand and how you present yourself on social media and that kind of stuff. And you don't necessarily have to change who you are, but you have to be aware of who you are.
Exactly.
You know, you have to say like,
it's a good way to put
I
it.
will never be approached by fucking like Disney or anything like that.
Nope.
But I mean, maybe Lovers Playground will approach me and, you know, maybe I'll do like a sponsored stream with, hey, try out the new double-headed dildo. It's fucking awesome.
Sure.
That's
and
awesome.
also I think in a lot of ways, as casters get bigger, the tolerance for that kind of stuff starts to plummet. And it gets to the point where casters can basically do what they want because their audience is so big. It's kind of any publicity is good publicity kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think the smaller the stream, the less tolerance there is for that, because then you're talking about less of a budget, needing to get that more bang for your buck, and less risks essentially, and then it comes down to like daytime TV stuff. So.
Yeah.
Is there any? Someone was saying, not to go completely off topic or whatever, but do you have any funny stories from Japan? Like somebody said something about a wallet.
Oh, you motherfucker.
Well,
I'm not kidding.
I don't know if that's
what I saw
necessarily
in
funny
chat.
for Soda. But,
I'm surprised it took this long for a troll question.
Yeah.
I got to be honest. I
I
knew it
have
was
no
gonna
idea
happen.
what it's about. I just saw it in
It's a
chat.
sour
Sorry.
spot.
So while I was in Japan, I had a lot of stuff in my pocket. I had a bunch of charging boxes, and I had cables going out of those boxes I had 2 phones. One dedicated towards chat, one dedicated towards team viewing into the computer we were streaming off of. And I also had my wallet. I had a lot of things in my pockets. I pulled one of the phones out, and that phone was in the same pocket as my wallet at the time. And the phone clipped my wallet, I guess. As I was pulling the phone out, it clipped the wallet, so the wallet also fell out. But I wasn't grabbing my wallet. See, it just clipped out. And it bounced off a bridge into a river, and it was gone. And it is in Japan. It had my license. It had all my credit cards. And it just floated there, about a 25-foot drop. It doesn't look too far in the camera, but about a 25-foot drop. And there was no way to get to it. And it was just floating. And then about after 30 minutes of just staring at my wallet just there, a boat drove by. Oh. And the waves from the boat made my wallet sink. And it was gone.
Oh, my God.
And it was definitely the highlight of that stream for the viewers.
Sure, yeah. Well, that brings up...
sucked.
So have you gotten to the point where you have offered an obscene reward for the return of that ID in that wallet?
I've seen people...
Only they record themselves getting it.
I would love to see... I've seen some people draw Twitter pictures or like take Twitter pictures of them just fishing in the Pacific Ocean, like looking for Chance's wallet. Maybe I'll get it. You know, it's like the golden find, man, the golden find. I did cancel all those credit cards. I haven't gone to the DMV yet to get my new license.
Oof,
I don't have a license
sketchy.
right now.
That's sketchy.
See, it's not. No one likes going to the DMV, man.
It sucks, especially in Texas. It's awful.
Yeah,
do you know
it's not fun.
Did you do your DMV in California where they have the fucking queues where you can just like...
No.
Man.
No, I lived all in California with the Texas license.
Okay.
I never changed it.
Texas
I should have, but I
DMVs
didn't.
suck. I'll just say that much. They're awful. They're awful.
I'm looking forward to it now. Thanks, man.
Yeah, they're bad.
They suck
all
everywhere,
terrible
dude.
Yeah,
Well, in California...
go, it's terrible.
No, in California,
Yeah.
you like set up appointments. They tell you times and stuff. There's no like... In Texas, you just go and stand in a line.
No, you can set up appointments.
Not in Texas, unless it's changed in the past like 2 or 3 years.
And it's not only that, but it's also the environment, right?
Exactly.
So, like,
no one
you
wants
go
to
in,
be there.
You pull out that number, and then you sit down, and you got to wait for them to call your number, like 39.
Yeah.
10 minutes later,
It's bad.
40. And you're like number 62. And there's no one else in the room, and you're like, why are there 12 people in front of me, yet I'm the only one in this room? Every time. Every time.
To spearhead off the wallet incident, I guess you could call it. I think you were kind of one of the first streamers, at least for my interest, and I'm sure other people did this as well, that took IRL and kind of almost pushed that whole directory forward in a sense of like making an event over it. You weren't just, I'm going to walk outside of my house and see what happens. You were like, we're going to go to Japan and stream for 20 days.
Yeah, that was me. That was me, Byron, and also Twitch was definitely involved as well.
Yeah.
It was a big like whole put together. We got to use the Gun Runs backpack. He made that for streamers all together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah. So the quality was amazing. Byron and I, in fact, actually the webcam camera I'm using right now is the camera we use in Japan. So the quality looked amazing while we were like walking around and everything. It was definitely really cool. You're right, though. It was one of the first streams that wasn't just going outside of our house.
Yeah. So
right?
with that in mind, do you think that's kind of pushing IRL in a place where it should go? Because it's a touchy subject in the sense that a lot of IRL streams are creating drama and not necessarily like creating an event, like and doing something.
The best way to put it, and I guess in memers language, is it's all basically a bunch of like titty streamers and like autism. Is like how the memers would say it.
Sure.
For sure.
Yep.
So content homie, come on, dog.
Sure.
So that's definitely what IRL, when you think IRL streamers, those are like, that's what you take from it. Japan stream was definitely just two dudes and all their friends just enjoying the time, being respectful or as respectful as we can. We are dumb tourists, but as respectful as we can, have a good time, provide good content without being, toxic fucks.
Right.
And it was a lot of fun. Our main focus, me and Byron would talk about it a lot, because we know a lot of other streamers would stress about it. Like we don't care about view count. We don't care about sub count. We don't care about donation count. Let's enjoy the time. Let's try to put on a good show, but don't stress about it. And it was definitely the right way to approach doing the whole stream. We would forget the stream was on sometimes.
Which is a little scary.
It is a little scary. It is. Because when we use the wide angle, I think right there, the shot you're showing is the wide angle lens on the shoulder, which was definitely the easiest to,
set and forget it type situation.
Yeah, type of forget about it type situation. Yeah, we would just walk around and we just have a good time.
And did you have a translator?
No, well, we had a couple people that could translate, but overall, like there were a couple days Byron and I just spent. It was just me and him, and the only words you needed to know in Japan was "simumasen," which means "excuse me." It can mean like "excuse me," like in English as well. Like it can be used to like interrupt people or get their attention, or like all sorts of ways you can use "simumasen." So you would just need to know that word, and then point at stuff. They just point "simumasen." And they'd start saying like 5 sentences you don't know what the fuck they even said. Simumasen. Just point at it again.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Easy peasy.
Makes sense.
You can get by with that.
See, dude, and that's honestly like that takes a bravery that I don't have. It may not seem like bravery to you, but I would get I would get cold sweat when I can't like communicate effectively with somebody. It's really fucking it really like I get scared.
Sure. You should have seen me at first, man. I'm just like you. I was very nervous. It was definitely out of my comfort zone, and I definitely did it on stream. And it was really hard.
Did you ever? I know a lot of people when they travel, there's like a Google Translator type deal where you can just type in whatever you want to say, then hit play, and it'll translate it. I know a lot of people use that. Okay.
We had none of that.
You hard moded Japan. You hard moded.
Well, we had a lot of friends that planned days for us as well, because they were locals, and some of them spoke really good Japanese, and they carried, but a lot of the time they weren't there. And you just in order to get around, you really didn't need to speak a lot of Japanese. You didn't.
Yeah.
It helps, but overall, simumasen.
Makes sense.
Arigato.
Seeing KFC in this clip makes me want to ask you, did you have any things that were like a KFC or like a Jack in the Box or anything that you had over there that you want
Japanese
that style
food is
version?
all better.
It's all better?
All Japanese food is just hands down better.
In what way is Japanese KFC better than American, if you can describe that?
It's just better chicken, dog.
Yeah, you think
better
so?
Chicken.
Okay.
Yeah, it was some good. I liked me some Japanese KFC, and the sushi there is incredible. I mean, like you get sushi for $13 or cheaper a person, and that sushi is better than $100 sushi you get here in the States. 100%.
Yeah. So with this whole trip to Japan, I feel like IRL afterwards switched to kind of all the events that happened at TwitchCon. I don't know have you kind of said your thoughts on everything that happened at TwitchCon, from people being banned and the whole don't stream the Twitch party, all that stuff. Have you ever commented on that before?
I've commented on it. My opinion is the people who got, like, there were some clips of people that are just so fucking disrespectful. Like as IRL streamers. I mean, I can understand, like, yeah, you're looking for content, but at the same time, that doesn't excuse you from being a decent person. Like, there's a clip of like Burger Andy following Dr. Disrespect around. Like, I wanted to punch him in the face, and I've never hit anyone in my life. I was really annoyed and really mad about that. And yeah, I mean, there's some things you can do for content, and there's some things you can't do. So a lot of people are doing things you shouldn't do.
How do you feel? Because I personally feel like Twitch was never really ahead of IRL streaming, in the sense of everything that happened was retroactive to what already occurred, especially at like TwitchCon. Like, how do you feel Twitch handled that whole situation? And do you think they could have done better? Or do you agree with how everything went down?
So they banned, if I remember correctly, they banned everyone from IRL streaming at the party, right?
Yes, and that became kind of a norm as we went into BlizzCon this past weekend, where WoW had party and everything specifically labeled everywhere was "Do not stream this party." Yeah.
It really comes down to, I personally, I wish it was just the really awful. It's a lot of the small streamers, to be honest with you. The reason they banned it was probably because they realized that a bunch of small they could ban specific people, like, you can't IRL stream here because you're too toxic. But it's a lot of the small streamers that haven't made it yet, that are trying to make it, that are willing to do whatever it takes. And so if you don't ban IRL streaming altogether, there's always going to be those small streamers coming in just trying to make it, willing to get content any which way they possibly can.
It feels a lot of times like they're the paparazzi trying to get that like candid shot that's going to give them that big break, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, man. That's because apparently, like when Jericho tweeted out that thing that really just set the whole Twitter sphere on fire.
Yeah.
Apparently, that guy walked up to him, didn't even ask him if he was like what he was doing, put a camera in his face while he was talking to someone else and started asking him questions. And it's like, dude,
completely rude.
Yeah. So actually, interesting question, Soda. So I wanted to ask you this: as one of the top IRL streamers, how do you feel about recording people that don't know or don't want to be recorded? Is that just a no-go for you?
I don't do it. I mean, if you watch any of my IRL streams while I was at TwitchCon, like I streamed myself at the H1Z1 event. I was very scared to go up to any single person in that H1Z1 arena unless I knew them as friends very closely, or if from a distance I gave them some sort of nod and I pointed to the camera and I gave a thumbs up and they nodded like yeah, and they like motioned me to come over. I wouldn't go up otherwise. I wouldn't, because that's not how you should do it. I mean, there's a courtesy, there's a way to IRL stream in a rude way and a non-rude way.
Sure.
Right?
I'm not assuming that you know the answer to this, but I'd love to hear your thoughts about like what do you think Twitch can do to move IRL into a more like into a better space? Because obviously, I mean, you said it before, the smaller streamers are going to do anything to get views, right?
Yeah.
How can I mean, do you have any ideas of what Twitch can do to like curb that?
Keep making examples out of them, and letting them, like, that's not how you do it. Eventually, these IRL streamers who are trying to make it by being fuckers will get the motion like, hey, even if I get the greatest clip ever, I'll get banned for being a piece of shit, so it won't matter. So make examples out of them constantly. But then again, maybe I'm wrong. That's the only way I could see it. God, the rules with Twitch are always so fucking weird.
Well, the rules are so fluid in a sense that
they change all the time.
Yeah, and that's because the spaces. I mean, Twitch 6 months ago was completely different than it is now. Twitch a year ago was not even the same fucking website on any forum.
It's hard to keep up, right?
Yeah. How do you feel about the idea of a lot of the IRL streamers, and I think a lot of Twitch streamers in general, and maybe this is something you experienced as you've been on Twitch over the course of time, but this idea that chat's like a living beast, right? Not necessarily an individual; it's kind of a thing. And
me and my stream, I call them Chad sometimes because it's almost like chat.
Sure.
Like, hey, Chad, what's going on? But go on, sorry.
Yeah, no, I think that's kind of exactly what I'm getting to. Do you think that that's something that people need to put more weight on? That chat is a group of people that all can do individual things, and if you're toxic on your stream, the chat will kind of be representative of the streamer themselves and go out and act on them.
I mean,
or act for them rather.
I can tell you right now that probably no one knows that better than me. Like if you look at all my different, if you look at all the different type of, I don't want to say different personalities, but different types of streams I've had. Like when I was younger, the chat was 110% a reflection of me. I was more toxic. My chat was more toxic. And then as that slowly converted over, my viewer base now, I have a bunch of like friends who I haven't talked to in like 3 years and don't watch my stream. And I talk to them again and they're like, what the fuck happened to your chat? They're so nice now. What happened? Why are they saying nice things? Why are they being nice to me? That makes no sense. I'm like, yeah, well, I mean, your chat is a reflection of you and the things you do on your stream, 100%. It's just like, I can't say more that is 100% true. It's so true. It is so true.
What were some of the steps that you took personally to kind of change that around? Was it just
I just grew up, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
in a way, they probably your chat grew up with you as well.
Yeah, no, a lot of them did. I didn't have any business model. I've never had any business model, or I just look back and see how did I do things, and I'm like, okay, well, it worked. So cool. I've kind of I just grew up. I didn't have a plan or anything. Just kind of stopped doing toxic shit and adapted. Is like, well, if I'm not going to be calling girls on Skype anymore, having on webcam and being an annoying kid, let's do this. Let's focus on my content now is this new game release. It's about the game I'm playing, right? It's about more than doing dumb things.
Sure. To kind of bring
and that shit, like, if you have a following as big as say just yours, and you have toxicity within your community and stuff like that, how do you deal with like you have power. You can make someone else's life a fucking living hell if you wanted to. If you said like, hey chat, I don't like this person. Let's go fuck with them. You know, I mean, that's fucking scary.
I don't mention names.
Okay.
I am very, very conscious of what the after effects are based on what I say. If I mention another streamer's name, I'm very aware that depending on the way I say it or what I say, whether or not it's going to be clipped and sent to them, and how that streamer is going to probably react, and how the whole scenario is going to play out at the end of the day. So I'm very careful about what I say and how I say it.
I think that's, at least for me, probably one of the scariest parts of IRL streaming is it's one thing to say a name on stream when it's just a webcam of you, but it's another thing to say, this is what this person looks like because my camera is pointed at them. Here is their name. Let's see what happens. I think a bunch of people, specifically at TwitchCon, certain employees that had their face and name shown on some of those streams didn't have the best time after the fact.
That was incredible. And the worst part was, and actually we were talking about this a little before the show, Soda, about how like sometimes it's the worst parts of this stuff that actually get the most attention. It is the less than 1% that gets 99% of those views sometimes. Mm-hmm. So of course, instead of them seeing the fact that Twitch announced that the IRL party was no streaming, and then people were going around and saying it, now we just see one person walking up to an IRL streamer telling them to stop doing IRL streaming, and that IRL streamer pointing at them going, God, that guy's a piece of shit, man. Isn't he a piece of shit? And then it's like, oh, cool. Now we have to have security for them tomorrow.
Yeah.
Great.
It's a little scary to think about that. And I mean, I think Hassan is very aware of like his, I guess, quote, status in the world of IRL, in the world of like live stream fails. And it's got to suck so bad because Hassan is like the nicest person to every streamer in the world.
Very nice guy. I love
and
him.
responsible
He's the
for
kind of dude that goes out of the way on a day he's not working to help out streamers that with problems that he has nothing to do with.
Yeah,
like it's ridiculous how much he does to help people on Twitch.
And he's kind of the main, not necessarily a target, but
the face.
The face, yeah.
That
which
was
just
the
sucks.
face of those issues in a lot.
I think that was like such a major mistake from Twitch is to have, you know, Hassan or Anil kind of be the guys, the partnership people that had their face out there. Just got to get targeted so much.
So I guess next time, send in someone else. But yeah, you're right. I really fucking sucks that Hassan.
No. Like yes, straight up like scream. You remember like scream?
With a Kappa face on it.
Run up and be like, get out of our party! Get out of our party! And have knives and stuff.
Yeah.
The IRL streamer's happy because he got something interesting, and then Twitch is happy because they're gone. Everyone's great. Birds are singing.
Yeah, let's give him some masks. I like
Just
that.
get some Kappa mask. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh yes.
The face of Anonymous on Twitch. Yeah.
Send it to like in the hooks, like they used to drag people off stage with, like 3 guys in Kappa masks hook the IRL streamers and pull them out of the party.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, it'd be ridiculous.
Someone with Benny Hill blasting on a stage. Okay, I'm stopping.
No. These are all great ideas. These are all great ideas.
He's fully envisioning the moment in his head, and he's just
I got
he
the
wants
whole
to make it a reality.
Yeah.
Like those old Scooby Doo, like they go in one door and they come out the other, and they're getting chased and shit.
Yeah. But I brought up Livestream Fail. It's funny. I think most streamers visit that site, if not on a weekly basis. 1, to see if they're on there. 2, to see what else is going on. But reading the comments on Livestream Fail, especially over the past like month, there's been a pretty big shift in like what is welcomed on that site, and even as far as like a couple days ago, I've seen a bunch of the commenters saying like, where's like all the gaming clips? This is all just drama shit. Like, there's some guy flipping out about whatever's happening in his life. Where's like, I think the clip of Sacriel yesterday or the day or two ago when he was riding the missile.
The pumpkin,
in Fortnite. Yeah, it was
moment.
fucking awesome. And a lot of people were just like, why is this not on this subreddit more? It's cool to see a shift of that a little bit.
It's really because I feel like the type of viewers that actually make comments and actually are the ones who post clips on Livestream Fails are the kind of viewers that watch IRL and get in on that drama type stuff.
Well, I also think that, not necessarily in their defense, but IRL has some pretty interesting fucking juicy drama stuff happen. And it does. As human beings, we are drawn to, there's a reason why reality TV took over television as big as it has the past.
I was going to say it's reality
decade.
television.
Yeah.
It's more reality TV than
Game of
reality
Jones.
TV on TV has ever been. I mean, you're not only watching like people that a lot of times you're actually invested in how much you like them and what they're doing in their lives, but you're watching them like on a 5 to 10 second delay. So
Yeah.
it's like anything could go wrong.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean it's the new age of reality TV, man. It's crazy.
Drama.
Yeah. And in some ways, it's keeping like the pulse of Twitch. I think that's very indicative of like what's going on Twitch on a day-to-day basis. If you just go check out Livestream Phil's.
It's true. It does keep you fairly updated on what's happened here and there.
Yeah.
I check it pretty much daily.
Oh yeah. It's gotten to the point where I'll always kind of watch a Doc clip to see what fucking stupid thing he did on stream that's funny. I'll watch a Shroud clip to see like how fucking good that guy is.
Some monster at PUBG.
He's just a fucking monster. There's a clip of him the other day where he killed like
I watched it.
25 people in a course
Just
of like 2
casually
minutes.
doing it too.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. So I would love to see that kind of thing pushed into maybe in a bigger scope, like have Twitch somehow incorporate that stuff. Because I think clips are such an important thing on Twitch.
Clips are huge.
Yeah, this past year, it's just grown immensely. But Twitch itself has like no filter for them. They're just a link that exists on Twitch right now. These are the top clips of the week by views for every channel on this entire platform. Like that type of stuff would be great if they could somehow do that. But who knows?
I agree. That would be awesome to have like a clip section that's regularly visited.
Yeah. I would be there. I think right now
For
the Pulse feed, at least mine on the front page, from the people that I follow, it'll automatically post popular clips from those people. But it's not ranked in any order, and it's usually just kind of like whatever time of day you tune in to Twitch.tv is when it posts.
I never really used the Pulse thing.
It's kind of a bad thing. I don't think they haven't really figured out how to use it. It's such an odd thing.
They're doing a lot of new things, and they're not really. They're throwing so many things at the wall. They're not giving any of it enough time to stick.
Yeah.
So there's like all these new features that they're just throwing out as fast as possible, and they'll roll out a new feature to replace a feature that they don't even know if it works properly yet.
Yeah.
Or they'll rebrand it under a different name.
Yeah.
Like they did 2 things at TwitchCon, so it's just like you never really know what's going on anymore. It's kind of crazy.
What did they do at TwitchCon?
The 2 things that they announced at TwitchCon that were basically rebranding is the Premiere system, is the vodcast system, except now you can put a time when you want your vodcast to start. And then they announced, oh God, what is it? Rooms? And that's basically that channel system we had a couple years ago that they just kind of scrapped. So, but they both have a few new features, but it's kind of the same thing. But now people are kind of like, is this them bringing it back, or is this a new thing? What's different? And it's just, yeah. And then with the Pulse thing, like the homepage is changing so often that people don't know, like, is this where I'm supposed to go, or does Twitch want us to bookmark our favorite streamers and go directly to there? Is this supposed to be a homepage, or like where I start my experience on Twitch?
Yeah.
Nobody really knows. No one's telling them this stuff. So, yeah.
There's
Weird.
I didn't even. I guess this is like this week. The game directory always on is a thing now. Have you guys heard of this?
Game directory always on.
It's 24/7 channels. There's Fail Army 24/7. There's food 24/7 food shows. There's Rift Tracks. There's the Pet Collective. There's Babel Music Live. And then Con TV. There's Clips TV.
So wait a second.
These are 24/7.
There.
And IGN1.
So let me get this straight. There's the vodcast system for when you want to run pre-recorded content to your viewers that's not live. And now there is the always on directory for when you want to deliver pre-recorded content to your viewers live.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing. It seems like such a clash of ideas there. Or it is a clash of ideas there. Clips TV is actually, I don't know if this is sanctioned, if this is Twitch themselves or just someone else, but it's just top clips 24 hours a day. Which is kind of, in a way, that's a weird thing because they're almost like taking other people's content and using it for their own.
I saw that clip really quick of that. That girl.
Yeah, no, I immediately turned. I saw that. And I was like, oh, let's click that over real quick.
Saw that one, dude. That girl got roasted.
Yeah, she did.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah. That's a weird thing. I don't know how I feel about. And also in chat, they're linking to the full video of the clip. Hey, here's our good buddy Forsen playing some Getting Over It. I'm sure Soda's clip is in here.
Yeah, good old this. Fuck this game.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
we'll be talking about that a little bit later. Yeah, I didn't realize this was a thing. Huh. Well, let's talk. Shift out of IRL. Talk a little bit about BlizzCon, and then we'll take our break for about 15 minutes.
Sure.
Yeah, this is the first BlizzCon I missed. I was sad on Friday after the opening, though. I was glad I wasn't there because that's, at least for me, after the opening, it's kind of like, well, let's walk around, let's do our one lap of the con, and then we're done. And then you go to your parties, and you go to the Hilton, and you hang out, and that's it.
I agree.
Yeah. But to be fair, it's always awesome being in that crowd for the opening, without a doubt.
It's amazing, and that is my favorite. That is, if there was one opening ceremony that I feel like I need to be at, that was it.
Yeah,
for sure for me. I do watch a little bit of the WoW tournaments.
Yeah, because I watched. I think a lot of people were watching the Overwatch stuff just to see how the Overwatch League was. How'd the WoW tournaments go? Who ended up winning as well? Because I didn't catch any
ABC
of them.
ended up winning.
Okay.
And I'm pretty okay with them winning. They play. I don't play. I don't know how much you guys care about WoW. I don't know how much.
I mean, Zeke and Co will always seem a little bit disinterested, but I'm always here.
I did a little. I'm a
Don't
PvP.
worry, I always look bored.
Yeah.
I have resting bored face.
I don't play recent. I haven't played recent Legion PvP, but Arcane Mage Windwalker Monk is a pretty interesting comp when it comes to like rotating their one-shottable cooldowns and just global someone.
Yeah.
So it was interesting seeing that team win. It was I didn't expect it at all.
So,
but then again, some people might have. I just don't play in recent PvP. So
were the rounds quick, or because you said they have like one shot? Yeah, because if they could just blow someone up, it goes 2v3.
Depends on the comp.
Okay.
There's some teams would swap. I would be watching the tournament and I would leave mid-tournament because I saw a team swap to Resto Shaman, Ellie Shaman, Boomkin.
Yeah.
Which, if you know anything about WoW, that's basically the hey, we're gonna wait for a very, very long time until someone zoom.
Sure.
You're not gonna be able to kill us.
Right.
The end of that.
I think
so
I
left.
That specific stuff is kind of why WoW as an esport, at least for my liking, is always kind of faltered in that sense, where it's not been the most exciting thing to watch unless you play it and play it at a pretty high level.
Yeah.
But with that in mind, did they do anything like the PvE racing they did a couple months back at BlizzCon?
I didn't see any of that at BlizzCon.
Okay.
I didn't see any of that, unfortunately.
Because I know that stuff that kind of blew up and surprised a lot of people how interesting it was.
The Overwatch tournament was fucking like the arena was cool.
Yeah,
that was cool to see.
That was the same arena they had last year, I think. Probably spruced up a tiny bit. But I think that Overwatch thing is such a interesting thing to watch just because it's such a giant, and when I say giant, $20 million just to get a team spot in the league. And that was purchased by people like the fucking the New England Patriots owner has a team in there, and like giant conglomerates have these teams. And it's kind of a gamble. Yeah.
We named our team San Francisco Shock.
Oh, you're the Shock. Okay.
Yeah, the Shock.
How do you like those team names?
Some of them are pretty bad.
Yeah.
I personally kind of like ours. I mean, it's better than the rest, in my opinion.
The Dallas Fuel, I know, is one. What's the Houston one? Houston, that's Optics team. But I
forgot. I
forgot the name. But whatever.
I'm okay with our name, which is, I guess I'm happy with that, right?
The Shock. Yeah.
No complaints.
Yeah.
Did they put up the shock sign? Like, yeah, the shocker.
We have team uniform. We have our there's skins in game of our uniform.
Yeah,
it's like orange.
That was something they announced. And something they showed in the actual Overwatch stuff, which is one of the biggest complaints I think for Overwatch esports, was that it's just a fucking nightmare to watch, because when you're playing Overwatch, the enemy's always red. But when you're watching Overwatch, it's red versus the red versus blue, and it's really weird to watch in terms of if they spectate on the red, you're like, whoa, why is he healing an enemy right there? It's just conflicting.
One of the most important things for esports is how pleasant it is and fun it is to watch. Right? They have to really focus on that.
Yeah.
A game can be really fun. A game can be really competitive and balanced, but if it's not fun to watch, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, totally.
So they definitely need to, and Overwatch is one of those games, I think they need to make it better to watch.
Totally. Again, those uniforms, they used them during the World Cup. For me, it was a complete 180. I actually really enjoyed watching that stuff. Specifically, I was watching the USA versus South Korea matches that occurred, which has kind of always been a big rivalry. Just in esports in general, is super fun. So I'm curious to see what happens when that league launches, if numbers are going to stay the same. Because BlizzCon, you know, it's the annual Blizzard event, right? Everyone kind of knows to watch those tournaments that weekend. What's going to happen when the Overwatch League goes on its own in the middle of the week at 4 o'clock in the afternoon? I just don't know what those numbers will look like. So we'll have to see. Some of the other announcements, the new WoW expansion, we were talking about that beforehand.
Yeah.
Which was cool. I think the cinematic was the cooler part, though. Not necessarily everything they announced.
Yeah.
But kind of going back to
everything
the
they
roots.
announced was kind of like it seemed kind of like what to be expected.
Yeah.
About a new expansion, like, okay, you raised the level cap. Okay, we got some sub races. Sub races are pretty cool, but kind of expected something like that. New like plundering islands, I think, or some shit.
Yeah.
But the cinematic, man.
Cinematic was pretty good. It's always good, but like this one specifically, I think kind of harkened back to what WoW, what was originally, in a sense with like the Horde versus Alliance type stuff.
I would say it's my favorite cinematic of all WoW expansions. I would say so. I would go as far as saying that. Better than Wrath of the Lich King.
That's where I was going. The art this one is pretty good with Cinder Gross. It's
just cinematic wise.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
I mean,
I'm like weighing it. I'm weighing it in my
disagree.
head. No, I'm weighing it in my head. I'm trying to think if I like one or the other better.
I mean, Wrath of the Lich
good.
King it's really cool because you're hearing his dad go on and on about being a king and being a good guy.
Yeah.
As Arthas is like summoning Syndra fucking Gosa and like the army of the dead, and he's not becoming the king he was meant to be. He's becoming like those two things going together. His speech and then Arthas is really cool. But something about Sylvanas being a huge badass and really being a cool war chief, and really like showing she deserves that spot is really cool to me.
Yeah.
And she earned it. And then also seeing Anduin, like the way Blizzard's approach of trying to make him look a lot cooler, because, you know, like Manduin or whatever.
Yeah.
And their approach of like, he may not, you know, be the most powerful badass paladin or fighter, but this guy can resurrect his whole team.
Yeah.
Right. So stuff like that. The way they did it was cool. Like the For the Horde from Sylvanas was like amazing and couldn't have been done. Like seeing her become the Banshee. I'm a huge nerd.
No,
Okay?
I think a lot of people are right there with you, man.
The Banshee Queen, when she did that, oh my God, I lost it. Like that was a huge moment for me.
I think Blizzard's like one of the only game companies, at least for my interest, and I think a lot of people's interest, where every time they put out a cinematic, regardless of if it's the Overwatch one they put out for Reinhardt or if it's the WoW one, they always know exactly what's going to like trigger their fans to get and evoke an emotional response. Like this one specifically was, like you said, the Sylvanas moment where she rages, and there's a very fine line. We were talking about this before, where For the Horde becomes super fucking mega cringy and badass, and they were on the badass side this time around.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. God, I'm watching your stream. I've rewatched this clip of her going into her beast mode moment so many times.
It's pretty good.
It really is.
It's pretty good.
And the Banshee. Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
No. That's the first time we've seen the Banshee too since
It's
like
good
Warcraft 3.
passion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I may not be a WoW fan, but it clearly is a very passionate thing for a lot of people, and that's awesome. I wish, honestly, I liked WoW more when I hear stuff like this.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to see it from my perspective. I played Warcraft 3 day in and day out before I even streamed World of Warcraft. So ever since I was in 3rd grade, since I could write in cursive, I've been in Warcraft, and it's been my day in, beginning to end thing. So
True.
this is all the Warcraft lore is huge to me.
Yeah. It is a.
Hey, you guys remember when they used to use cursive? I remember.
Oh my God, I remember.
I don't think I've written in cursive in like ever.
I was so pissed. I learned that they told me it was like the writing of the future. Literally, that's what they told me. Like everyone's gonna write in cursive when you're older. Like you need to learn this.
Yeah.
You lying. sack
Was
of
it
shit.
was it cursive at the time? What did it? I did.
I don't know.
My mom always writes in cursive. I saw that. But I mean,
Yeah,
nowadays,
my dad and mom both cursive.
I think that's more out of not to imply that your parents are lazy, but I think that's out of laziness in terms of just writing, because it's quicker to combine all the letters into one fluid stroke than it is to sit there and go making 4 strokes a character.
Dude, they told me that
but who
dumbest
writes
things growing up.
anything?
No, literally, they told me it was the shorthand of the educated. That's what I was told cursive was. If you learn how to do it, you write faster and quicker, and everything's just better. And you need to learn cursive. And I just remember being as a kid like, "Are you? Why? I already know the other letters. Why?"
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing as like the Pythagorean theorem and all that shit, right? Like no one fucking uses any of that.
No.
Now you're getting
No, any math thing is just
Careful,
like
that's how buildings stay up.
yeah. I mean, it's used in the world, but for us, it's like fucking whatever. We couldn't even
Right.
recite what that is. Yeah.
I hate it. I don't have any pens or pencils in my house. Like I used to have like a pencil pouch for school. And I always had pens and pencils so readily available. But now, like when a pizza shows up, I can't even sign the tip if they don't have a pen. I'm sorry, I don't have a pen or a pencil.
Dude, that happened.
I don't have one.
Oh my! I had the most. I'll say this. I had the most embarrassing moment like 2 weeks ago when I had to pay someone at the door for what you're saying, like pizza. Like, do you have a pen? No.
Oh.
Well, I don't have one, and if you don't, can I print the receipt out and scan it and put it into Photoshop? I guess that would work.
Could I perhaps slice my finger
So-
and use the blood
No, this is
to sign your document?
this is literally what I did. I scanned the receipt, went into Photoshop, signed it with my mouse, and then printed it for him, and he accepted that because I didn't have a
hilarious.
pen. The whole thing was like 5 minutes long.
It's such a simple utensil,
I
and they're
know.
sold so regularly. But like,
I just don't
I
have
never
it,
buy
man.
one. There's no. I never need it.
I just don't have one. I don't know.
Actually, I think I started writing checks recently. I had to for selling a house, but aside from that, give me a week, I'll lose all the pens and I'll be out again.
Yep.
I feel like this is one of those moments we're gonna look back in 10 years and be like, it's when it started, right there. That's the moment it started.
What started?
Yeah.
Where I started
Just
buying
everything,
pens again?
like the not having basic things, just complete absence of
Look.
having everything that we just normally used to keep around. So I have this paper, but I need to separate
I'm
it.
not-
Does anyone
I'm not
have, like,
ashamed.
some kind of edge that's sharpened. I don't. You don't? Anyone? Can
Co,
we
I'm
talk
not
to a
ashamed.
neighbor?
I'm not ashamed to admit that Sunday I ran out of toilet paper, and instead of going
Just
to the
losing his
store,
shit sneezing.
I'm really sick, man.
Jesus, Co, I'm not. I think a lot of
Move
people
my
are in
mic,
this
so.
boat. Sunday I ran out of toilet paper. Okay, I Amazon next day toilet paper instead of going to the store that is literally 2 minutes up the street from me to buy toilet paper.
There's only one thing that can make this better. Was a single roll of ultra soft toilet paper delivered to you via drone to your doorstep.
No. Here's the
Dude,
thing.
are you sneezing or coming? It looks
I'm trying to sneeze,
close.
but I can see your face looking at me, watching me sneeze, and so it's making me to where I can't sneeze, but I really need to.
I'm sorry. I'll leave. I'll leave.
Sorry,
So you
Co.
can
No, Co.
No,
I'm sorry,
it's
you were-
fine.
No.
I'm
We're
enjoying
both
this too.
having
It's okay.
both conversations.
Do you have a
are-
bright light you can look at, maybe?
Yeah, that would help.
that-
Let me turn my light on.
There you go.
God dang it.
Because the face is just like.
I didn't notice because I was focusing on Co. There you go.
still got
Are you
that
sneezing or do we
medicine
catch your vinegar strokes?
Yeah, I still got this like medicine like stuff.
Yeah. Jesus.
Oh, it tastes so bad.
No, Co, whenever I order that stuff, it's like you order like fucking 72 rolls or some fucking abnormal shit.
See, the only time we ever order that stuff now, it's now the subscription. Like
Yeah. And that's
how
the
often
weirdest
am I gonna
thing.
Need this, and let me just get it delivered regularly.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. The subscription stuff on Amazon is weird when it comes to those goods. But anyways, I don't know why the fuck we're talking about this. The last thing, I guess, the most maybe important thing for a lot of people at BlizzCon, kind of out of left field for some, was the WoW Classic stuff, which a complete 180 on what they said a couple months back. Where
Yeah. They so that WoW Classic, the announcement was God, that was amazing. I didn't expect it at all. Now, a lot of my friends said they hung out with devs the night before, and the devs were they at that point it was a lot of the devs slipped up and told them.
they get drunk, it happens.
Yeah, I wasn't there. I didn't have any talks with any devs, and apparently all my friends were saying that because all of them knew and were talking about it and they knew that they were going to announce it, during the announcements, they all wanted to hang out with me. They all wanted to be with me during the announcements to see my genuine reaction.
Yeah.
And they all wanted to film it. No one found me. I was off on my own. I wasn't even in the main ceremony area because it was too crowded. I was off in like probably like the Heroes of the Storm tournament area because they had the opening ceremony going through every single TV in the entire place.
Right.
When it happened, when they started talking about, I'm gonna sneeze again.
So stare at the light. Stare at the light, man. You got to look at that light.
Yeah, when they started talking about like ice cream and whatnot,
I had no idea where they were going. Did you pick it up right off the bat?
Right off the bat.
Yeah.
I mean, because I knew that, like, I'm so used to saying vanilla World of Warcraft, vanilla. And I there was no other direction it could go. Not to mention, this is like the opening ceremony, so it's like he wouldn't just randomly take a second and before all the big news and like set aside a moment during the opening ceremony for anything other than a classic announcement. Right. So it was pretty obvious that like this is going towards classic WoW. And so I was in shock and I was still like, I was speechless for the whole time, just completely speechless. And then by the next thing I knew, they were playing the video you're playing now, rewinding time. And I see they put a lot of time in the rewinding in Cataclysm because that's when a lot of the changes happened. Mm-hmm. That's when the whole world was destroyed. And I was just seriously frozen. I couldn't fucking believe it. And then next thing I know, I spaced out and I didn't hear anything about the new expansion. And that's not to say I'm not excited for it. I really am excited for the new expansion. It looks fucking amazing because it looks pretty PvP oriented or focused. I mean, it's called Battle for Azeroth, Horde vs. Alliance, so I'd hope so. And then I started seeing the cinematic trailer, and that's my favorite trailer I've ever seen, cinematic-wise, for WoW. So, I mean, like, I was in this whole fucking wonderland of fuck yeah.
What was the like crowd reaction to that? Was everyone just kind of like the chance of like, no, oh shit, what was that?
I don't know how else to word this, but BlizzCon this time was filled with a bunch of Overwatch normies.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to word it. Hopefully you know what I mean when I say Overwatch
I get you.
normies.
I get
you get it, right?
Yeah.
So a bunch of Overwatch normies. But you could hear the people that weren't Overwatch normies everywhere during that moment. Like the genuine, like, oh,
yeah,
like freak out. You could hear them like throughout the whole hall and everything. But there were some people that like didn't even react at all when they said WoW Classic, had no idea what it even was. Like, what's World of Warcraft? Never heard of that.
Yeah.
I play Tracer. I'm like, oh, okay. So there's a lot of those. But the crowd reaction was definitely like the people who did cared lost it.
Yeah.
They cared a lot.
Quick side question, real fast. Is this a vanilla server or is this a progression server?
They don't know.
It's gonna be progression.
You think it's gonna be progression? Do
they haven't said it, but I'll tell you right now, they're gonna release BC. Like BC is gonna happen eventually. I know it. What were you gonna say?
No, it's just such a weird thing. Like once you start thinking about like, well, what does classic actually mean? Like, what do you take from the new age of WoW or the new days of WoW, like the quality of life stuff, and apply it back? Do you take anything?
That's the thing. The people that are going to be making the classic server, the one thing we do know is it is going to be a team that have a love for classic WoW, like I do, and all the people who really want to play it do.
Yeah.
That's the team that Blizzard's looking for, that they've said that they're looking for, which is good news. And there's some things I do want them to change. And me and other people, like I'm playing on a private server right now, Elysium, or it's Light's Hope now. I have a 60 druid there. I was playing last night, and me and all these guys who, these guys farm the honor system. They do all that jazz. They're playing it right now, and there are changes that are like the PvP system is horrendous.
Yeah.
It's with 2017's version of gamers, it's just going to be. It's going to be manipulated, and people are going to cheat, or what is it? Like Chinese gold farmers and shit. It's bad.
We're going to be farming for all this again.
Yeah, some changes need to be made. Some changes seriously need to be made. But also, there's the people that are like, no, keep it exactly like it was. A lot of those people that are like exactly like it was are people who aren't actually
purists
playing. Like little minor changes, like purists. And you can see their side of the their idea behind it, but also things like mass loot. So you loot a corpse, you can only loot one at a time.
Yep.
I think that should be swapped to, AoE looting again. Like they added that, and I think Wrath, AoE looting should be a thing.
I think so, yeah. Something like
minor
that.
changes like that. Do they update the UI?
Do they? What about the player models? Like
player models.
Yeah.
Make it an option.
Everything you guys are talking about is really interesting discussion, because what's funny is I was not a WoW player, but I just went through this experience with my personal WoW, which was EverQuest.
Yeah.
So EverQuest just released a progression server, like 5 or 6 months ago, and I played on it for like 3 months. I played on it so much that I had to stop because I wasn't streaming enough. That's how much I was playing this game.
That's me.
But what's crazy is the EverQuest progression server used the new UI. It had a lot of the features that the new EQ does, but the old one didn't. Like, for instance, in old school EQ, if you died, all of your gear was on your corpse. And you had to go back and get it to get your shit back. That wasn't in the progression server. So what was interesting, though, is there was the progression server that was sanctioned by Sony, and then there was Project 1999, which was the actual vanilla experience with all of the shit that came with it. And it was really weird because when the progression server came out from Sony, you had the classic community, which used to be rock solid, all of a sudden split in two.
Right.
And what was crazy is you saw the purists go to 1999. Oh, how can you guys play all that? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, you guys are pansies compared to what we used to do. And then you had me and the new people, where it's like, dude, that shit was fun when I was 15 years old. Like, it was great running through and getting my corpse when I had 8 hours to play a day. But now, now that we have all these quality of life things, like that looting you were just talking about, and the PvP changes you guys were just talking about, you get to a point where you're just older and you're like, dude, I kind of like all the fixes. Like, I like all the new QOL stuff in my vanilla experience. I can tell you, coming from the EQ thing, you guys are in for a ride, because it completely shattered the EQ community when this stuff happened.
I think a key thing, in my personal opinion, how they should handle a situation like this when it comes to releasing these servers is listen to the community, maybe like forum polls, let them vote. There's obviously like the main team that's going to make private server this, or not the private server, classic WoW. Hopefully, they have a love for the game, so they won't even put up a stupid poll like, should we add LFR to this classic WoW? The answer is fuck no.
Yeah, the answer is just no. Yeah,
that's just that shouldn't even be polled. But the AoE looting, I think that should be polled. Things like that. Just AoE looting. You kill 20 mobs, loot them instantly.
Soda, do you think from a business perspective, Blizzard will look at this as trying to get as many people into it, or is this purely to appease the people that wanted it in the first place?
Appease.
Or is it just to bring all those people under their umbrella? Because, I mean, don't get me wrong here. They're going to be making money off these servers, aren't they?
Totally, without a doubt, yeah.
Yeah,
they haven't said why.
Just tapping into that illegal crowd that's been going on for all this time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing. I wonder if after those classic servers come out, if that kills all the private servers. If they just like cease to exist. Not only because, Blizzard issues cease and desist orders, but
Soda, as somebody playing on a private server, how does the private server community feel about this?
They're ecstatic about it. I mean, a lot of people have quit private servers now because they're like, oh, I'm not going to waste my time here because it's going to be a classic WoW. But they don't realize this server is not going to be out for at least a year. And that's minimum. I would guess 2 years. Maximum, I'd say 3 years. My guess is 2. It's going to be a while. Not to mention also, I feel more... I want to play private servers more now because it feels like I'm practicing.
That makes sense. Do you think they'll go as like... How far do you think that rift between the, we'll just use names, the Tallies of the world and the Sodapoppins of the world will be? Like, what does that look like? I can't even imagine what that's going to look like.
What do you mean?
Like people sticking vehemently to the current expansion and people saying, I'm going to play Classic. You're going to do both. Okay.
Yeah, both. For sure. I mean, when Classic WoW comes out, your main thing you do is you level your character. If you're good, that'll take you maybe like a week or 2. You get max level, and then you do your pre-raid best in slot stuff. That's another couple weeks. Eventually, you get to a point where the main thing you can really do is log on for raid. And you can farm your mats. You can do some world PvP here and there. You can maybe do some 19 schwinking and 29 schwinking, but overall, you do get to a point in Classic WoW where you just log on for a raid, and you do some extra farming here and there. I will be playing live and Classic. I'll be playing both still, because live is relatively the same thing.
For the most part,
doesn't take as long.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, that's what we saw for the EQ progression servers too. A lot of the players that were playing the old school progression servers just disappeared when the new EQ expansion came out, and they went off and played that, and then a few months later they came back and played on the server.
Okay,
it's all stuff they've done
before,
so they can just jump in and jump out. Like there's no pressure for them. It's just more fun stuff and content for them to do on top of what they're already doing and would be doing if the vanilla servers didn't exist.
Yeah, part of me
I
really.
mean,
go ahead.
The amount of WoW content, that's like World of Warcraft content that's available. That's all fun and interesting to do. Now that there's 2 WoWs, like there's going to be classic WoW character and your main character. For the hardcore players, that is a lot of content.
Sure.
Like that's not an alt. Like having a main character and an alt is one thing. This is 2 main characters.
Sure. Yeah.
And both of them matter a lot. That's infinite content. Always something to do.
Yeah. You got me thinking about like things that would be fun to play on the classic server. It'd be real fun. It'd be fun to do that AQ
I'll tell you right now,
event again.
2017 gamers in vanilla World of Warcraft is fucking interesting as hell.
Really?
People sucked back then. Yeah, feral druids, they're actually really good. They were a terrible class during vanilla. They're they're the same. But now that people learned how to play and work the talents and found little neat tricks, like there's a level 40 helm called the Wolf's Head helm. It's level 40. It's blue. It is the best helm for feral druids in the game, DPS wise, all the way up until the end of Burning Crusade. It's
what does it do specifically that makes it the best helm?
When you go into cat form, you start with 20 more energy.
Oh, okay.
And so you power shift. I could explain it, but I know a lot of people would fall asleep.
No, I get what you're saying. I understand. The people that know what that is know what it is. That's all that matters.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like, and that's the thing. Back in vanilla, ferals were terrible. Well, they weren't terrible, but
druids
they
were fucking
good.
terrible. Let's be honest. Druids sucked in vanilla. We were innervate bots.
Innervate bots, rebirth bots, and you always want to have at least one resto druid because you would apply rejuvenation.
Sure.
And rejuve didn't stack, so you didn't want more than 2. I think most raids run like 2 resto druids tops.
Yeah.
But feral druids, you can off tank, you can go DPS mode, you can do crazy stuff. But anyways, it's just cool. The point is, 2017 gamers are way different than 2008 gamers.
Yeah.
Way different.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to see on the private server how everything plays out. It's a different game now.
Yep.
A lot of people that haven't played private servers or haven't played 60 that are looking forward to playing the classic WoW, you're going to get a big awakening to how it is. It's different. Very different. Really excited about it, though. I'm fucking pumped.
It'll be cool. I can't... I just don't know... Like, it's going to be so... The amount of controversy that Blizzard's going to have to deal with in terms of what's in, what's not, and all that shit is staggering for them to come out and just announce this stuff. Kind of blows my mind. It's a move that I would never have expected to occur. I never thought they would go and do that, but
I had a lot of talks with a lot of devs before, like always asking, "Hey, you guys gonna do classic WoW?" I would just sit there and talk with devs and talk about, "Yeah, you guys should do it." And they'd say, "Yeah, we agree," but there's like everyone has to agree, everyone, and there's a lot of people that disagree with announcing classic in Blizzard. A lot of people who agree, and it just seems like they all came to terms with it.
Yeah.
And they somehow kept it behind closed doors.
That's the incredible part. Yeah. That's the real incredible part.
Motherfuckers.
You're going to be talking WoW a little bit later on another podcast today.
Yep.
So we'll cut the conversation short because we got other games to talk about. But we need to take a break first, and then we'll do so. Probably talk some more Assassin's Creed. Definitely talk to Soda about some Getting Over It, because I think me and Zeke and Co definitely want to hear about that game. Talk to Zeke about some Wolfenstein, and then whatever else is there. So we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with more right after this. We'll see you in about 5 minutes.